Did you know that 1 in 4 adults over 65 experiences a fall each year? Yet a small group seems almost completely protected from this risk. What's their secret? These falls aren't just a nuisance, they're actually the leading cause of injury-related deaths in people over 60. Still, some older adults move with incredible stability, as if they've unlocked a secret the rest of us haven't. Today, I'm going to share 7 walking techniques used by seniors who rarely fall, methods recommended by geriatric experts but seldom taught to the public. These aren't complicated exercises. Instead, they're simple, subtle shifts in how you walk that become second nature with practice. One of these techniques, the fourth one, is especially surprising. It involves something most of us do backward every day without realizing it. Have you or someone you care about ever experienced a fall? If so, type balance in the comments below, and let's start transforming how you walk for good. Meet Thomas, a 72-year-old retired engineer who had 3 serious falls within 6 months. The last one landed him in the hospital with a fractured hip, a wake-up call he won't forget. Thomas said, "After my surgery, I thought my independent days were over. My daughter was already checking out assisted living options. Then my physical therapist showed me something that changed everything." What Thomas learned wasn't just another set of balance exercises, it was a complete overhaul of his walking technique. These subtle but powerful changes improved his stability almost immediately. Within a year, Thomas went from frequent falls to none and even started hiking moderate trails with his grandchildren. His progress wasn't luck. It was the result of careful, methodical work. Over the last 2 years, I've consulted with top geriatric physical therapists and balance specialists from leading medical centers. I've also studied how older adults who stay mobile well into their 80s and 90s naturally walk. What I discovered will change the way you think about walking forever. These aren't temporary fixes or exercises you'll quit after a few weeks, they're permanent adjustments that become automatic. A new way of moving that your body will thank you for. The techniques I'm about to share are especially useful if you've noticed changes in your balance, experienced a recent fall, or just want to keep your independence longer. And that surprising fourth secret? It's about something you do dozens of times a day, probably backward without realizing it. If you find this helpful, please hit that like button to help others discover these tips, and subscribe for more trusted advice that empowers older adults to live confidently and independently. Here's our first walking secret, and it might surprise you because it doesn't have anything to do with your feet. It's all about your eyes. So tell me, where do you usually look when you walk? If you're like most seniors, you probably look down just a few feet ahead. That makes sense, right? You want to spot hazards ahead, right? But here's the surprising truth. Looking down actually raises your risk of falling significantly. When you keep your gaze fixed downward while walking, several things happen at once. Your head tilts forward, shifting your center of gravity. Your neck and upper back muscles tighten. Your shoulders round forward. Most importantly, your balance system doesn't get the full picture of your surroundings. This is where the 3-point gaze technique can make a big difference. Thomas's physical therapist introduced him to this method during his recovery. Thomas said, "At first, it felt really unnatural. I thought I'd trip over something if I wasn't constantly watching the ground. But within days, my posture completely changed." Here's how the 3-point gaze technique works. Start by setting your near point about 10 to 15 feet ahead. This gives you enough time to notice any obstacles without compromising your posture, while your peripheral vision still catches anything closer. Next, regularly lift your gaze to your far point, your destination, or the horizon. This naturally straightens your spine and resets your posture. Try doing this every 10 to 15 seconds as you walk. Finally, and this is the part most people miss, actively engage your peripheral vision. Practice widening your side vision to spot movement and obstacles without turning your head. Thomas practiced this daily during his neighborhood walks. He'd focus on a landmark in the distance, keep his gaze at the right near point, and occasionally look up toward where he was headed. Thomas shared, "After 2 weeks, I noticed I was standing taller, breathing easier, and feeling a lot more confident." The science behind this is fascinating. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that gaze direction actually changes your entire walking mechanics. When participants looked down, researchers saw increased postural sway and shorter steps, both linked to a higher risk of falling. When they used the 3-point technique, their walking became more stable and confident. Even better, their reaction time to unexpected obstacles improved by almost 20%. Be honest, do you usually look down while walking? If so, type "guilty" in the comments. You're not alone, and simply becoming aware of this habit is the first step toward change. But here's an important point. The gaze technique works best when combined with our second walking secret, which focuses on what happens from the ground up. Our second secret deals with how your foot strikes the ground, something many older adults unknowingly get wrong. Think about how a young child walks. They have a smooth, natural motion where the heel touches first, then the foot rolls forward to the toes. But as we age, many people develop problematic patterns, either landing flat-footed with the whole foot hitting the ground at once, or worse, toe-first walking. These altered walking patterns seriously hurt your stability. Walking flat-footed means losing the natural shock absorption and smooth weight transfer that help prevent falls. Toe-first walking is much the same. It's like balancing on a tightrope. Your base of support becomes dangerously narrow. The right way is called the heel-to-toe roll, which is how humans are naturally designed to walk. Here's how it works. Each step starts with your heel touching the ground first. Then your weight rolls smoothly along the outer edge of your foot, pushing off with your toes at the end. This creates a stable triangular base throughout your stride and lets your ankle absorb shock properly. Thomas said, "I realized I'd been walking flat-footed for years. The first week practicing the heel-to-toe roll felt awkward and exaggerated, but by week 3, my balance improved dramatically. Now it feels completely natural." Dr. James Richardson, a rehab specialist who has studied gait patterns for over 30 years, explains why this technique is so effective. The heel-to-toe roll uses your ankle's full range of motion and spreads forces efficiently through your whole leg. This prevents jerky, unstable movements that often cause falls. If you have foot pain or arthritis that makes heel strikes uncomfortable, don't worry. Start with shorter steps and increase gradually as you feel comfortable. Proper supportive shoes help. Talk about the best footwear in secret number 5. Here's a simple way to practice. Walk slowly in a straight line, consciously touching your heel first, then rolling to your toes. Focus on smooth weight transfer, not speed. 10 minutes of mindful practice each day helps build the muscle memory needed to make this automatic. Try taking 5 steps now using the heel-to-toe roll. Comment smooth if you notice better stability. Now, secret number 3 focuses on what physical therapists call the forgotten stabilizer, a crucial system most older adults completely overlook while walking. The third secret is your core muscles. Most people think of core strength as sit-ups or beach-ready abs. But your core muscles play a much more important role. They're the central stabilizers that keep your entire body balanced while moving. Here's the issue. As we age, we tend to turn off our core muscles while walking. We let our midsection relax, which forces our back, hips, and knees to pick up the slack. This causes a chain reaction of instability that greatly raises fall risk. Thomas said, "I never thought about my stomach muscles when walking. It seemed unrelated to balance. But once I learned to engage my core, I felt an immediate difference, like someone tightened all the bolts on a wobbly chair." The technique is called core engagement, and it's surprisingly simple. No crunches or planks needed. Instead, try what therapists call the zip-up technique while walking. Imagine gently drawing your belly button toward your spine and not sucking in, but creating a slight lift and tightening inside. The movement is subtle, no one would even notice you're doing it. The core engagement should be about 20 to 30% of your maximum effort, just enough to provide stability without creating tension. At first, Thomas found it hard to remember to engage his core, so he came up with a simple reminder system. He put small colored dot stickers in key spots around his house, on the fridge, near the front door, and on his bathroom mirror. Whenever he saw a dot, he'd check his core engagement for the next minute as he walked. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that strong core stability is closely linked to preventing falls. Their studies found that older adults who keep their core muscles engaged while walking recover better when they stumble or walk on uneven ground. The most common mistake is trying to engage too forcefully. Remember, this isn't about creating a rigid, tight tension, it's about gentle, steady support. You should be able to breathe normally and carry on a conversation while doing it. For those with back pain, this technique can even provide relief by properly supporting the spine during movement. Start with short practice sessions and gradually build up as it feels more natural. Have you ever thought about your core muscles when you walk? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now here's where many people get it completely wrong. Our 4th secret focuses on a part of your body you're probably using incorrectly with every single step: your arms. Watch how kids walk naturally. Their arms swing freely and rhythmically with every step. Now watch many older adults. Their arms barely move, held stiffly at their sides or even clasped in front. This small habit actually raises the risk of falling significantly. Your arms act as natural counterbalances. When your right foot steps forward, your left arm should swing forward to help keep your balance. This opposite movement stabilizes your whole body and stops excessive twisting of your torso, which can cause falls. But there's more. Proper arm swing balances your lower body, immediately boosting stability, maintaining momentum, reducing fatigue, and improving proprioception, your body's sense of where it is in space. Physical therapists call the right arm swing the 45-degree swing. Your arm should bend about 45 degrees at the elbow and swing naturally front to back, not side to side. The movement should be relaxed, not forced, with your hand passing just past your hip pocket at the back of the swing. Thomas said, "I realized I'd been walking with my arms practically frozen. When I started practicing the proper arm swing, my whole walking pattern changed. My daughter even noticed before I told her about these techniques. She said, 'You suddenly looked years younger and more confident.' Here's a simple 3-day reset practice." On day 1, Thomas practiced for 5 minutes, exaggerating his arm swing while walking. He made the movement a bit bigger than normal to reactivate those movement patterns. On day 2, he walked with a normal arm swing but focused on coordinating it with his legs, right foot forward, left arm forward. By day 3, he worked on relaxing his shoulders while keeping the arm swing going. Research from gait analysis studies at the University of Michigan found that proper arm swinging reduces energy use by nearly 8% and improves recovery after a stumble by up to 15%. Even more impressive, their research showed that simply restoring a natural arm swing can lower fall risk by as much as 30% in adults over 65. The biggest mistake is swinging your arms across your body instead of front to back. Your arms should swing like pendulums on parallel planes, not crossing your center line. Do your arms swing naturally when you walk, or do you keep them mostly still? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, secret number 5 might surprise you because it involves something you're standing on right now, an area that many fall prevention programs completely overlook. This 5th secret may be the most overlooked but critical factor affecting your stability, your feet, and the footwear you choose. As we get older, 2 major changes happen to our feet. First, the sensitive nerve endings that send essential balance information to your brain start to decline, a condition podiatrists call age-related peripheral neuropathy. Second, the small yet powerful muscles in your feet weaken after decades of being confined in stiff, supportive shoes. This combination creates a risky situation where your brain gets less feedback about the surface you're walking on, while your feet have less strength to respond to changes in terrain. Even worse, many older adults unknowingly create what podiatrists call proprioceptive insulation by wearing the wrong shoes. Thick-soled, heavily cushioned shoes may feel comfortable, but they drastically reduce your foot's ability to sense and react to the ground beneath you. I was wearing these thick-soled, cushioned slip-on shoes that I thought were perfect for someone my age, Thomas said. My therapist called them balance blockers and showed me how they were actually making me less stable. For the best stability, look for these 3 essential features in your walking shoes. First, a low, wide heel, not completely flat, but no more than a 1-inch difference between heel and forefoot. Second, a thin, flexible sole at the forefoot that lets you feel the ground. And third, secure fastenings like laces or strong Velcro knot slip-ons. Thomas made a dramatic change by switching to properly fitted walking shoes with these features, and he immediately noticed better stability on uneven ground. But footwear is only part of the solution. Thomas also started a simple foot strengthening routine. Toe spreading. While sitting, spread your toes as wide as you can. Hold for 5 seconds, then relax. Repeat this 10 times. Towel gripping. Place a small towel on the floor and use your toes to scrunch and pull it toward you. Marble pickup. Practice picking up marbles with your toes and placing them in a bowl, an excellent exercise for improving dexterity. Research published in the Journal of Podiatric Medicine found that just 6 weeks of these simple exercises improved balance scores by 30% in adults over 65. Even more encouraging, participants reported feeling more confident walking on tricky surfaces like grass or gravel. Dr. Emily Spall, a podiatrist who specializes in movement science, explains, your feet have about 200,000 nerve endings designed to help you safely navigate your surroundings. The right shoes allow these nerve endings to function properly, while foot strengthening exercises boost your body's natural stability. Take a look at your current shoes. Do they have the 3 key features I mentioned earlier? Let me know in the comments. Now, let's talk about the walking secret that transformed Thomas's confidence on uneven terrain, a technique that literally changed his walking foundation. Our 6th walking secret focuses on a common mistake many seniors make without realizing it: walking with their feet too close together. If you've ever watched someone who seems unsteady on their feet, you'll notice their feet often cross over an imaginary center line. This narrow gait essentially turns your base of support from a stable rectangle into a precarious line, like walking on a tightrope. The solution is the widened base technique, which simply means walking with your feet hip-width apart. This doesn't mean adopting a wide, exaggerated stance that can cause other problems. The ideal width is your natural hip width, creating what balance experts call a stability rectangle beneath you. When your feet stay this width apart during walking, you build a much more secure foundation. Thomas said, "This was a total game changer for me. For years, I'd been walking with my feet nearly crossing over each other without realizing it. My physical therapist pointed out how this narrow pattern was causing me to wobble side to side with every step." Thomas used a simple but clever training method. He placed 2 strips of painter's tape on his hallway floor exactly hip-width apart. Several times a day, he walked the length of the hallway, making sure each foot stayed on its own line. Thomas shared, "After just 2 weeks, keeping the proper width felt natural. When I went back to my usual walking routes, I felt much more stable, especially on uneven ground, like grass or gravel." Keep in mind this technique might need some adjustment depending on your body size and mobility. Taller people naturally require a slightly wider stance than shorter folks. If you have hip pain or arthritis, start with a narrower width and gradually widen it as you get comfortable. A helpful way to visualize this is to imagine walking on parallel train tracks. Your feet should never cross over or step onto the opposite track. This mental image helps you keep the right step width without having to look down. Research from the Gait and Balance Laboratory at Johns Hopkins shows that walking with the correct base width reduces side-to-side sway by up to 40% and cuts down on extra arm movements needed to keep balance. For seniors, this directly means fewer falls. Dr. Lisa Constantius, a balance expert, says, "When we study fall patterns in older adults, we consistently see that walking with narrow steps often leads to sideways fall zone of the most common and dangerous kinds. Simply widening your stance to the proper width can greatly improve your stability. Next time you walk, pay attention to whether your feet cross over each other or stay steady at a good width. What did you notice? Share your experience in the comments." Now, our last secret might be the most important one because it focuses on what happens between your steps, the key moments when most falls actually occur. The 7th and final walking secret reveals a surprising fact. Most falls don't happen while walking straight. Instead, they happen during what specialists call transition moments, the brief seconds when you shift from one type of movement to another. These tricky moments include standing up from a chair, turning or changing direction, stopping suddenly, stepping sideways, going through doorways, or moving from one surface to another, like carpet to tile. The problem is, many older adults rush through these transitions, not giving their balance system enough time to adjust. Your body needs a moment to reset when you change position or direction, especially since proprioception, your body's sense of where it is, naturally declines with age. This is where the mindful transitions technique makes a big difference. Thomas said, "My physical therapist noticed I would make sudden, jerky turns while walking. She taught me to pause deliberately before changing direction. It felt slow and awkward at first, but it completely stopped those wobbly moments." This technique centers around the 3-second pause, a short but intentional stop before you start moving differently. During this pause, you stabilize your position, engage your core, like we learned in secret number 3. Focus your eyes on where you want to go next. Then, begin your new movement, especially when turning, which is one of the riskiest actions. Use the pivot and step method instead of twisting your body. That means come to a full stop, lift your foot, and place it in the new direction. Let your body follow instead of twisting your upper body while your feet stay planted. Thomas practiced this by spotting risky transitions in his daily life, like standing up from his favorite chair, turning at the bottom of the stairs, or squeezing through his narrow bathroom doorway. He worked on pausing at each spot. Thomas shared, "I even put small red dot stickers at those points as reminders. Eventually, the pause became second nature, and I took the stickers down." Research from the Fall Prevention Research Lab at Oregon Health Sciences University found that transition moments cause 87% of falls in adults over 65. Studies showed that simply adding a brief pause before transitions cut fall incidence by 47%, possibly the most effective single strategy in fall prevention research. To get the hang of this technique, try this easy daily practice. Pick 3 to 5 common transitions in your home. For 1 week, deliberately practice pausing for 3 seconds before each transition. Focus on keeping your movements smooth and intentional, not rushed. When was the last time you nearly fell? Was it during a transition? Share your story in the comments. These 7 walking secrets aren't separate tricks, they work together as a system. The gaze technique helps keep good posture, which supports effective heel-to-toe walking. Core engagement stabilizes your body for proper arm swing. The widened base creates a strong foundation for safe transitions. Together, they don't just improve how you walk, they transform your entire experience of moving through the world. Let's quickly review the 7 secrets. The 3-point gaze technique, looking ahead instead of down. The heel-to-toe roll, making sure your foot hits the ground properly. Core engagement, activating your body's central stabilizers. The arm swing, restituting natural counterbalance. Foot strength and proper footwear building your foundation. The widened base technique keeping optimal step width. Mindful transition spousing before changing direction. Thomas's change after using all 7 was remarkable. His walking went from hesitant and shaky to confident and smooth. His posture improved a lot. He stands taller, breathes easier, and moves with purpose. Thomas said, "The biggest surprise wasn't just avoiding falset, was that walking became enjoyable again. I used to dread any kind of walking. Now I actually look forward to my daily walks." Here's a simple 7-day plan to start using these techniques yourself. Day 1. Focus only on the 3-point gaze technique. Practice looking ahead while walking. Day 2. Add the heel to toe roll, keeping your gaze steady. Day 3. Introduce core engagement, syncing it with your breathing. Day 4. Practice resetting your arm swing while keeping the earlier techniques. Day 5. Check your footwear and start foot, strengthening exercises. Day 6. Work on the widened base technique using the parallel tracks idea. Day 7. Practice mindful transitions, especially when turning or changing direction. After that first week, spend 2 to 3 minutes before walking each day to mentally review all 7 techniques. Soon, they'll feel like second nature. The most common question I get is, do I really need to do all 7? The answer is yes. They work best together. Each one supports and enhances the others. Patricia, 78, started these techniques after 2 falls in 3 months. The mindful transitions technique was a total game changer for me, she says. I realized all my close calls happened when I turned too fast. Robert, 84, found the widened base technique to be the most helpful. I never realized I was basically walking on a tightrope until my physical therapist pointed it out. Just widening my stance a bit has made a huge difference. Dr. Elizabeth Morrow, Director of Geriatric Rehab at Midwest Health Systems, stresses the importance of consistency. These techniques need to be practiced repeatedly to become automatic, but the aging brain is surprisingly adaptable. New movement patterns can be formed at any age with the right practice. Which of these 7 secrets do you think will help you the most? Drop the number in the comments below. Remember, these aren't just about preventing falls, they're about regaining the freedom, confidence, and joy that come with moving safely and securely. When you walk without fear of falling, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Falls don't have to be just a part of aging. They're not random accidents or bad luck, they're often caused by walking habits that can be recognized and fixed at any age. Think back to Thomas, who had 3 serious falls in just 6 months. Now, he walks confidently and steadily, enjoying activities he thought were behind him forever. His turnaround didn't require expensive gadgets or tough workouts, just steady use of these 7 proven techniques. The best part? While they take effort at first, these walking secrets eventually become automatic. Your brain and body learn them as your new normal, giving you lasting protection against falls. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and share this video with someone you care about who might benefit. Your share could literally prevent a life-changing fall. Subscribe for more trusted, evidence-based advice to help older adults live with confidence and independence. Remember, it's never too late to change how you move through the world.